Hi, this is Dr. Marion Ross with
Dr. Tracy Latz, and today we have Dr. Annika Sorensen from Ask Dr. Annika.
We're so excited to see you. Annika's an MD in family practice. She's been family practicing for over 30 years, helping people in all kinds of ways. And she's also coaching people to get out of stress, learn how to manage their lives physically, mentally, and emotionally. So welcome, Annika, and tell us how you do all these wonderful things. I saw your TED Talk. It was terrific.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I'm glad you liked my TED Talk. I actually have two TED Talks. The same subject, because that's the only thing I know, stress management.
It's not all you know, but it's
No.
what you're very well known for.
That's what I always talk about, or that's where I want to help. It's helping people to get out of the hamster wheel, the rat race, find a better life, a calmer, more, it's not always, sometimes people say, why you say a better life, but I have a good life, but it's just where you can be more content.
Yes. So we are kindred spirits. We're both about helping people to be calm, but your specialty is really looking at stress. And I understand you've helped companies. You've been brought in to help them de-stress employees, and it's fascinating.
Yes, it's and I feel happy every time I see someone get it, because that's my aim for things, to have people to get it. This is what I need to do, and then they have to do all the work themselves.
So how did you get into this? You're de-stressed. What do you use every day and how did you come to it?
Yeah, how did I come to it? Well, I've looked back in my own journey and my own life, and why I am who I am, and why this is of such interest to me. And I had a very sad story right when I started to do my medical practice. I lost my brother and our first born baby, and she was only 10 weeks old within 1 week. They were, totally independent of each other, but both from very severe illness. And that's when I was supposed to start teaching or helping other people. So I had a very tough start, and I realized that I learned so much about taking care of myself at that time to be able to survive and to start doing what I was doing. Then we got 3 more children, and today grown up, beautiful ladies. I have 2 grandchildren too. And when they were in the teenage years, and 3 teenage girls, full-time work as a doctor, life was full. So that's when I really started to ponder on, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? What is it all about? And then that's when I looked back and saw where I was and who I was, and that I knew how to take that step back instead of walking straight into the stress wall. So that's when I started to learn more about how do we function, what is a workplace, all those things in the business world.
And finding your own why is probably the first step for everything, because if you don't know
Absolutely.
why you're doing something, how can you lead others to do what you don't know what you're doing?
And
why.
also modeling what you teach, not just telling people what to do and then have your whole life fall down around you. To actually practice the tools is really crucial.
Leading by example.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess that's what I do most of the time, at least. And I've also taught my daughters to they've seen me do things, and I see that they have modeled me in so many ways too. And that makes me really happy.
It is really neat to see children. I have 3 as well, and they're all adults, and it's really so cool to see them take on pieces that you're not even sure they were aware, that you were aware they were listening to you teach other people, and they begin to step into it. It's wonderful.
Yes, and I kind of try to impact them early, because I started, when I was working with this, finding out, oh, what am I going to do? I started my daily walking. And I realized that when you walk, you think better, and you get all these good ideas. And then I started to bring my daughters with me on my daily walk, one by one. And when you do a walk and talk, you come up with better ideas. And I think that many of these walk and talks with my daughters help them to tackle their life, and it got me to see what their lives were, because they could tell me things that you normally don't talk around the dinner table with whenever everybody else is there. So it's kind of been, modeling all the way.
That's
Well,
fabulous.
it's also being present.
Yeah.
You are very present for them, and that's the being present is the best present you can give to anyone.
Yeah.
And to teach anyone. I mean, any kind of leader or coach or doctor needs to be present for people around them.
Absolutely. You have to listen to what they say. And I think I'm fairly good at, with my patient, that I've been working with patients all my life. It's that I do hear what they say, also between the lines.
But it's hearing what you say between the lines, hearing what you think between the lines. It's really getting to know yourself, to be centered enough, to be focused and grounded, and understand why you're doing what you're doing when you're doing it, and that you are in the present moment and not reacting from the past or fearing for the future, but making choices related to the present moment. That's one of the
Absolutely.
hardest exercises ever.
Absolutely. I usually say that, I mean, the past, it's only a thought in your mind, because it has already happened. You can do nothing about it. It can only destroy you by taking too much power from you. Or the future, it hasn't happened. And 90% of what you think will happen will never happen.
So it creates increasing stress and anxiety to focus
Yeah.
on either. And maybe that's part of what walking with your daughters really kept you and them in the present as you were speaking, because it really becomes a physical metaphor, really, of moving through time, but you're moving together, not back there and not there. You're heading, but it's a journey. So it's cool.
And I also learned with all the studies and so on, that this gift that we have with moving our bodies and thinking at the same time in a good way, it's part of that what we got from 200,000 years ago, because we needed to be able to think in a good way when we were fighting or running away. Otherwise, we would be eaten.
True. So we had evolved, we weren't trees. And as an psychiatrist, I tell people we are not trees. Standing still or sitting is not okay. Move.
Yes, and move in the right direction. And that's where the thinking that we got with it came with it. So it's a tool. I teach that as a tool.
Yes. So survival. So you teach people to understand. We were chatting the other day where you were talking about how our bodies have not yet evolved. We're still in that caveman, cavewoman mindset of
Absolutely.
Fight or flight or freeze.
Yeah, those are our basic built-in tools, and they were very handy when you were fighting the animals, but they are not at all handy when you're fighting your boss, because you're not supposed to punch them in the face. You're not supposed to run away from them or fall down on the floor and pretend you're dead.
Play possum. No, it doesn't.
Because that's what we normal, that's what's automatically comes there. And so it's if you understand that, it's so much easier to tackle things in a better way. More.
You have to get out of your subconscious reactions, and I think
Yes,
90% of what we do is subconscious.
absolutely.
Present enough to understand that we don't have to live in fight or flight. We can go beyond that. And I think the first step is usually the breath. I'm sure you would agree to that.
Absolutely.
It's
That
free, and we have to do it anyway.
Exactly. And I have, that's one of my main teachings, of course, in this, is that to be in the now, you have to take a deep breath. And I've met business leaders who say, uh-oh, I'm not going to do that. Whoa, whoa. That's just, and then I ask, well, do you normally breathe? And they say, of course I do. Yeah, that's what I'm asking you to do. And see it as a tool, not as something you just do. If you use it as a tool, then it can be more, what do you say? You can notice it more.
When you do it mindfully and you say,
Yeah, and because business leaders, they want tools. They don't want whoa, whoa, they want tools. And then I say, breathe, that's a tool.
that's right. Yeah, it is interesting. Integrative psychiatry, integrative medicine really is learning that it's more than just bringing nutrition in, which is important, but it's about bringing that mindful awareness, bringing in that awareness that we are more than this physical body, and stepping more into that, which helps us navigate this caveman, cavewoman body a little bit better.
Also getting in touch with our heart and
Yeah.
thinking with our heart rather than our mind. Let the mind be the master of the heart. No way. That's Einstein rejected that outright and said the heart has to be master of the mind.
And that's why we also are kindred, and we do very quick tools like you do.
Yeah.
To get people.
And I as I see it, or as I try to present to people, is that you first have to do the mindset. Because if you don't want to do things, if you keep saying, no, I don't want to, then nobody can help you do it. You have to do the work yourself. So you have to have the mindset. And then you have to have energy to be able to do changes. And for energy, what do you need for energy? You need food, sleep, and exercise, and friendship. And then when you have the mindset and you have started to get your energy in a good way, then you can start do the changes with whatever you need to change to get a different reaction on your life, in your life.
But it usually starts with your thoughts.
Yeah.
If you can't monitor your thoughts, you don't know why you're making the choices you're making. And you don't know what your life plan was going from birth to where you are now. I mean, people ask, how did I get here? Usually not very mindfully, they just reacted.
Yeah. and your thoughts are so much brought to you by your surroundings. And because they tell you are brought up with, this is how we do things. And you want to be part of the group, so you do the same as the group does. And you automatically stick to that. And if you try to do different, people around you will try to keep you back, to get you back into what you were before, because they want to be satisfied and so
What becomes fear driven from,
yes,
I need to do this because my family taught me, or my community taught me, my school taught me. And over time, my relationships teach me I will not be accepted if I do this or that, or bad things will happen, or I step into this fear of nothing good will ever happen to me anyway because of me focusing on what happened in the past. And when that happens, I'm stuck. I can't move forward until I challenge it, and I can't challenge it for someone else.
No.
A lot of people get dragged into my office as a psychiatrist. I want him fixed. And I'm like, do they think there's a problem? You know?
No, that's what I said. You have to start with your mindset. If you don't want, nobody else is going to be able to do anything because you have to do the work yourself.
And then you need
And
self-discipline, which is a whole nother conversation.
And I tell them, I can't eat for you and I can't take the walk for you or anything. You just have to do that yourself.
Now, hold on. If you eat for me, will you hold the calories, but I get the energy?
Oh, good idea. Can you figure that out, how that works? That'd be great.
We'll
That
be
would be a
famous.
terrific idea.
So to get the discipline for people who begin to want to transform, but feel like they need help, it looks like you do coaching for people as well.
Yeah, I do coaching, or I call it mentoring, because the difference between coaching and mentoring is that when you're coaching, you don't interfere in what the doing is. And when I call it mentoring, I do interfere in that sense that I say, or if I ask them, what would you do? And they say, I could do this or I could do that. And then I can say, okay, yes, you can do either, of course. But if it was me, I would do this because it's more physical or more biologically correct. It's going to benefit you more. But you can do it the other way. And they always get to do it the way they want. I can't force anyone. But I can keep them informed. And I use that because I am a doctor. I have that knowledge. And that's what I want to give. That's why I call myself a mentor and not just a coach.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Are you coaching any teenagers? I mean, they really need it.
Mentoring.
Mentoring teenagers. I think you need to coach teenagers, not mentor them. You need to beat them over the head.
Yeah, no, I don't really. I do speaking for that kind of group sometimes. Yes, I do. And I do have two. They are not teenagers. I work as a mentor for the economic school and for one of those places where you have startups. So I have two young ladies that I mentor to help them to find, so that they can be, so that their business life will be easier from the start.
They're in an incubator.
Yeah, the one is an incubator. The other one is the economic school. They have this. So I have a Chinese girl in the economic school, and I have a German girl in the incubator.
Oh, that's great.
Very nice.
Sounds a little weird.
Yeah.
One in the incubator.
Yeah, I love to do those because you do meet them, say, once a month. And you talk and you see, and especially this girl from China who came a year ago, and she was so shy and not self-worthy. And she is, I mean, she's beautiful and she is so talented, and she comes from China to Sweden to study for 2 years, and her parents had let her go, even though they wanted her to stay, because she's the only child, and she comes and really not believing in herself. And now we are going to start the second year now. So now I see that she has started to stretch a little, and I can. I can do things and I have the right to do things.
That's good.
So I
Again,
like that.
self-love. That's good.
Well, the Chinese have a collective consciousness that they do everything for the collective.
I know.
Get someone to do it for as an individual it's a wonderful
It's
thing
huge.
for them. She'll never want to go back. It's a great experience. At least you can make different choices.
Yes, and I think that she can change the world in the end if she gets it right.
Absolutely. One person at a time.
Exactly. So
Well,
I like doing that as and I of course that you do for free, so you just for the fun of it.
that's right, for the impact of it and the joy. I love that you, like me, started out down this scientific medical path, and then kind of we took, both of us, left turns. We still have our day job or whatever. You as
Yes, and I still stay
yeah.
within. I don't do anything that I don't feel is right within my license.
Right.
So that's how I see it. That's for my conscience.
Yes, yes, and I perfectly get that. I love it.
But you're using quite a few stress tools as am I in my practice.
Yeah.
And it's life-changing for them while they're sitting in the office doing it. But somehow they forget when they get home and they're in a stressful situation.
But those who do and practice it, I've had them come in and say using these simple tools changes everything about their relationship if they are in a position, managerial position, that people feel they can approach them more. And it's not that they're telling people no less. It's that they are able to be in a state of compassion when they say, I'm sorry, no, but they also hear people. They're able to hear people better and not take things personally when people tell them things that in the past would have triggered them or gaslit them. So, you know, stress tools are really, really fabulous. And
yeah, and if you learn to be kind to yourself, it's so much easier to be kind. It comes more automatic that you are kind to other people, even if you have to say no or you can't do that or whatever it is. But you can say things to people in different ways. You can tell them or you can tell them.
That's true. And it changes the tone of your voice. It changes everything.
It changes the message, and people
exactly, it changes the message even if you say the same thing.
So to teach someone to say no in a way that works for them is an amazing gift, because you're not making a decision if you don't know how to say no. You're just letting it happen.
Exactly.
And people are afraid to say no because they don't want to be unloved. They don't want to be disrespected for whatever reasons.
Or the dinosaur could come and eat you if you tell it no.
Wow. Yeah, and that's what we talked about before. If you want to change if you start to change because you want to change, then the people around you will kind of come and try to bring you back because they are afraid that you will change, so that their surrounding will be changed and they don't want to be changed. So it's hard. It is hard to do at least bigger changes because of the surrounding always trying to get you back. And that's why you need to have a mentor or a coach or someone, accountability group or whatever, when you do these changes, because then you can always get some support and take the next step.
Stepping out of the comfort zone.
Right.
And take and get the support again when someone, and oh, now they are trying to get me back. What shall I do? And then you, so that's, so you do need someone to hold your hand.
It's helpful, but when you change your energy and the way you think about things and your belief about yourself and other people and start responding to the world differently, you are attracting a whole different group of people, your different energies, different opportunities. And that's the wonderful thing, but you have to have the strength to go the course to get there.
Absolutely. And that's what they tell you. You become like the 5 persons that are closest around you. I mean, that's a saying. And there is actually quite a lot of truth in that you are like the people that you, and one other reason that we haven't touched is that all feelings are contagious.
Absolutely.
So I also teach a lot about the smile, because smiling is contagious, and if I smile to you, you have a hard time not to smile back. And when we smile, we feel good hormones, and when people start understanding that, they also become more smiling. And I always tell them that you cannot, if you don't have someone to smile to, you take your phone, you put it in selfie mode, and you smile to yourself, and that works just as fine.
Truth.
And then people laugh, so that it's kind of a good thing, and it's a good tool, and they remember it.
We had a, 95-year-old Qigong master from China who was amazing. And she said, if you have no one to kiss and hug, it's a problem. You have to
Hug
create
yourself.
self-love every day. You need to hug yourself and kiss yourself at least 9 times a day, saying, I love you, and call your name, I love you, 9 times throughout the day. And actually, I told my mother that years ago when she was, I don't know, 95. She said, oh, I really like that. And I was so surprised, because she's someone who shows no emotion whatsoever. But it worked. It
Yeah,
works.
it does work.
Crazy things do work, because your mind doesn't know the difference between a truth and a lie.
Exactly. And if you are around a grumpy group, you become grumpy, even if you come there and are happy to begin with, because it's contagious.
So
The
that's why
frequency interacts.
you need to be with happy
smiling people.
You need to manage your energy, especially when you're eating, I see. You don't want to eat with anyone who's grumpy or very negative. You'll get indigestion. I mean, you'll digest your food much better when you're with people sort of at the same level of happiness
Yeah.
and peace.
Well,
Yeah, and the funny thing really is that this is all so simple.
yes, it is.
I usually start with stress management is theoretically very simple.
It's simple, but not easy.
It's not easy, but it's very theoretically very simple how it works. But then it's not easy, because we have all these ways of behaving and
Well, we
things
have all
around
these
us.
faulty beliefs about
Yeah.
who we are and what we're supposed to be. It is easy and it is simple. We make
And it doesn't cost a thing.
That's right.
Except for the mentor or the coach.
No.
It's true. It's true. But then, you are right about how we work with a lot of people. I know we have, and I'm sure you have too, who are like, now I'm all happier and I'm up this higher vibration and I'm in a more positive place. So now I'm going to go hang out with my old friends and make them come to where I am. And I'll be like,
No.
Work that way. It doesn't
Stay
work
away.
that way.
Stay away. Stay away.
Be around people who are at the level of happy or joyfulness you are, or higher, because you will aspire to that which is higher than where you are, and ascend.
Yeah, and when you meet your old friends that are not in that line, then you just be aware, I'm going to meet them. I have to kind of hold back and give your best and then move.
That's right. Same with family reunions.
Exactly. Family.
Raja technique about how to deal with people when you have to be around people and you kind of want to see them. It's the holidays or whatever, but how not to get pulled back into the old dances. We love to teach people quick tools for that, to sort of go, okay, stay on your raft, keep floating.
It's the same in business, because sometimes you have business people in your workplace, or that your customers or whatever, people that you don't agree with and that are negative and dragging you down. if you go there and know that, then it's easier to stay calm and go away as soon as you can.
That's right.
It's true. It's like,
Forewarned is forearmed.
it's knowing you're going to be the only sober person at a party, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's the same kind of attitude. I have a funny story. I was coaching someone and I was also coaching them in golf. And with a very simple tool, just tapping on the gamut point between the pinky and the ring finger. And since he learned to putt properly, he dropped his handicap by 4 or 5 points. He had been playing golf with the same group for, 25 years, and they were all about the same, and they were all competing with each other for money, and, they'd be 1 or 2 points apart. And now this guy he was winning everything. And he said, "What have you done? My partners don't want to play with me anymore. I have to find a new group." And I thought, these aren't the right kind of people to be with.
Good for you, say.
Yeah, all this competition and no cooperation. But they were all executives and this was their mentality. And he said, "Oh my God, I've understood something I've never looked at before."
Yeah, because you mimic the
Bingo.
ones that you are, and you kind of don't even try to stick out.
Right.
Of course, he could have been cooperative and shared the gamut point tapping.
But
Yeah, he could have.
He wasn't that enlightened yet. It was only the
And
first.
then the others would have said, "That's just woo-woo."
Until they golfed again. I know. It is hard to help people understand that while we do have these bodies that are built with the cortisol inside of it to keep us fighting and flying and fleeing from all these things, we also have access to the other energies that people go to acupuncturists for, or things to center us, and that these ancient wisdoms of acupuncture, qigong, and yoga, meditation, and breathing techniques have been around and continue to be around to try to mitigate that and keep us from eating each other or killing each other or hiding in a cave the rest of our life.
There's nothing new under the sun. We were
No.
tapping when it first came out, and then our Qigong master taught us the ancient way of tapping, which is the precursor to EFT, which works 10 times faster.
And I use that in my practice
So
constantly.
it's 2,000
It's
years
fast.
old. So
Yes, and my best way for meditation that I understood as I went along is that I've been knitting when I was studying. I always had something doing, and I took a course in hand looming. So when I do the hand looming, that is extreme meditation.
Yes.
It's so good.
Moving
Yes.
meditation. That's
Yes.
great.
It becomes
And all of these, and there are studies today that shows that all these textile techniques are like meditation. And then also one of my daughters is a musician and my sister is a pianist. And I also understand that especially singing in a choir is as good as meditation.
Well, different vibrations of that sort we know, and we know more and more because we know in medicine now that red light therapy, which is a vibration and a frequency, can help the body, can help us in different ways. And everyone's like, "We discovered it." And I'm like, "No, you rediscovered it." But it's beautiful that we are realizing the beauty of Western medicine, but also some of the limits unless we bring in the wholeness that is available to us to really rebalance.
Yeah, we have to go back to basics. That's also what I talk about, saying that we need to go back to who we are, to that savannah 200,000 years ago, and understand that's how we function. And when you do understand, then it's easier to grasp what's going on in your life today.
Well,
So Dr. Annika, give us 1 or 2 of your techniques. A quick
Well,
one.
I for this getting into the now, I use the breathing, So taking a deep breath, or 3 or 4 deep breaths, and letting your shoulders down. And I mean, some people have it with you have a square and so on. I don't use any of that. I just do it. The second one to get into the now is to move your body, to stretch, to walk around your desk, because then you start your brain again moving your body. And the third one is the laughter. And the fourth one is what I call a mini meditation. It's closing your eyes and saying a kind word slowly to yourself repeatedly. And I use the word release because that's how I was taught this. So I release. And I use that, for example, when I'm on the bus going home, or on the train or something, where you had a tough day, or you just want to get back into your own mood. You can sit on the bus and do that for yourself.
Super. Well, thank you for sharing all of this. And if someone wanted to work with you, how would they reach you?
The easiest way would to go to my website, askdrannika.com. You see the askdrannika.com, because there is a connection, the place where you can connect and so on.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And we are the Shift Doctors, Tracy Latz
And Marion Ross
at shiftyourlife.com.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.